Thanks for everyone still stay here. I think it's the last panel for Taipei Blockchain Week. So yeah, I think it will be a very exciting topic about gaming evolution. So I think we should start to introduce those amazing panelists. So let's start with Jason.
Hi guys, my name is Jason. I'm the Global Gaming Lead at SAY Foundation. So SAY is the first parallelized CVM blockchain with the fastest time to finality. And basically, I focus on building the whole gaming ecosystem, building them, to SAY, helping them acquire users, and basically ensure the success of, the whole gaming ecosystem.
Yeah. Darren.
Hi everyone, I'm Darren. I'm the head of BD for Space Nation. Space Nation is a Web3 MMORPG. We're also trying to be a space opera. So we're not just a singular product. We're also making reality TV shows, anime, manga. Roland Emmerich is one of our co-founders. We're actually making a TV series as we speak, and I'll be out in 2 years. So for people that don't know Space Nation very well, we are MMORPG. We have everything you'd expect from a traditional game. So PvP, PvE, boss quests, boss dungeons, multiplayer modes. So everything you'd expect, but we rely on blockchain technology to make everything smoother and more seamless.
Hi everyone, my name is Andy, and I came from Pesach Meta, a Web3 accelerator in Japan. So we do investments. We also do strategic advisories work. And myself, I work in marketing, and I'm the global marketing director there. So we help projects to enter the Japanese market, to understand the audience, and to help them build their community in Japan. Yeah, nice to be here.
Okay, thank you, Andy. So the first question we want to talk about the current situation of Web3 gaming. As we know, the last bull market, the GameFi become very, very popular and attract a lot of users to adopt Web3 crypto. And we have some classic projects like S Infinity and the Statements. But do you think there's any changes in this year, especially for gaming? So I want to stay with Jason.
Yeah, I think this year has been very interesting. We see the rise of Telegram games, especially games that's tap to earn, right? So it's been off a new narrative, where people can just tap and there's earning potential. So if you look at the whole aspects, everything's still tied back towards the financial side of things. But in terms of platform-wise, right now we have Telegram, right? Yeah. And then of course there's new chains coming up like Kaya, working with Line, that kind of stuff, where people are actually looking at mini games. And this basically open new windows where, right now games are being built on Telegram, right? There you see tons of them. Some of them are not even tap to earn. Some of them are built on Unity. There's basically proper earning mechanics, gaming mechanics behind it. And I would consider it a real game. So it basically opened new doors, new avenues, but it doesn't really rely and focus more on earning. But of course, there's more fun game loop behind it.
Yeah, and no gameplay on the tap to earn games. How do you think about Darren?
I think one's clear is that gaming is actually getting better. If you look at gaming from the last cycle when it first started, most of them appear to be just flash games. So from the outside perspective, you think, are these really games in the first place? But now if you look at even the games that came out as nominations from the Games GG Award, they all look like AAA games, very good quality, they look good, they feel good. So games like Off the Grid, they could actually compete on PS5 games. If you look at Matrix Fire, it could be seen as Web3 PUBG. So one, for sure, they are getting better, improving, and is towards one step towards mass adoption.
Okay. Andy?
Okay, I realized I didn't do my self-introduction properly. So why I'm on this panel is that we in the Japanese market, a very big gaming market. I do a lot of projects. I support a lot of projects in their Japanese market activation. And I think Darren and Jason provided really good points on the tap to earn, tap to earn perspective, and also about how there's much better quality games right now. And I think what other than the games themselves is that we see a lot of ecosystem, things that are providing to games that are coming out, like ecosystem, like gaming data, analytics, those kind of stuff. And we also see that there's a lot more esports revolving around Web3 games. And honestly, I think there's what Web3 game actually has been more questionable nowadays. Do you tap, you earn, as long as it's fun? Is it a game? Or is there other possibilities out there for Web3 gaming? I think that's something we see more recently.
Yeah, and top of it, I think the pay-to-earn model is a very important for Web3 gaming. So I would like to know you guys thought, what about the pay-to-earn model? Because we better than in many projects, I think everyone want to decide their tokenomic, because it's very important for GameFi. So, what do you think about the sustainable tokenomic? How to design, or how do you apply the sustainable tokenomic? Yeah.
I think the whole play to earning tokenomics model isn't the best when it comes to sustaining a game, because token is a separate product and it shouldn't be tying back to the game itself. I think that's something that we need to be very clear, because first and foremost we must always remember that gaming is always more for like fun and entertainment, and it shouldn't be really tied towards the earning side. But of course, in Web3, right, everybody in this space is looking at the financial elements, and that's why there's like a new product which is tokens, that is tied back to the whole thing. So if we really want to look at the financial elements, there's always other ways where we can incentivize the players. It doesn't have to be tied towards like the liquidity of the tokens. It can be through like NFT drops, right? Potentially letting the players have the say, the ownership of like how they define the value of their NFTs. It could be like every season there's going to be like a new leaderboard, and after this leaderboard, I'm going to give you like a 1-hour-1, or maybe like an exclusive skin that only the top players will get. With like new stats, new looks and stuff, and then the players will then decide, how much they can sell in the market. And I think this is something that we can do to really sustain the whole model, because if we always try to inject liquidity based on like the revenue of the game, it will affect, how the developers think. Because developers themselves, they want to focus on marketing, developing new features, improving their gameplay, and of course, fixing things that need to be fixed. But if they will look at, injecting liquidity, buying back the tokens, putting their revenue into it, it basically affects, the whole ecosystem as a whole for the game studio. So I don't think that's the most ideal option, but rather, there's always other ways to look at it.
Okay. How about Darren?
I wish I went first, because Jason took all the answers out. One thing I want to echo is that the token, yes, it doesn't have to be tied to the game. It can be completely independent. And one thing I agree on as well is that play to earn doesn't have to be the token. You can actually be playing for the NFTs itself as well. If I use Space Nation, for example, you can actually play the game and actually craft spaceships as NFTs as well. So we feel MMORPGs has a natural element to play to earn or play to own, which are still very similar. So in MMORPGs, as you level up, you actually acquire weapons, you acquire different armor, equipment. These can be NFTs as well. So the more you play the game, there's a sense of progression. So there's actually value to the NFTs itself. And in this sense, the value of an NFT is actually validated by the community. So in this sense, that if you list something in auction house for like 10 ETH, it stays in the ecosystem. People believe it's worth 10 ETH because it's validated by the community. Whereas tokens, it's actually validated by the outside community. So there's some speculation. So this is why, again, yeah, it shouldn't be tied to the token, but more to the NFTs.
Okay.
I think, yeah, Darren raised a really good point, because I was just thinking about the fungible tokens, but it's more about how you work with the fungible tokens and the non-fungible tokens, and how it makes it interesting for gamers to like continually play the game. But to be very honest, as a marketer, I'm not sure I'm in the best position to talk about this. But I think an important thing is that as a marketer, I see like how it works in different markets. And while we're based in Japan, we also have colleagues who are managing in the Southeast Asian market. And I do see that like good tokenomics, like good design of how the gaming earning experience really affects how your game's success. And I think for founders, for builders, I think it's really important that not only you think about how the game should be played, but how the tokenomics can be designed such that players can enjoy both like how fun it is and also how it benefits them.
Yeah, but I think about the tokenomics more regarding for the investment, right? So, but if you want to have a sustainable game projects, you have to have the user base. So I want to discuss about the acquiring user strategy. So if you have some experience or recommend for some gaming founders how to do the best acquiring user strategy. So yeah.
Maybe I can let Darren go first.
Acquiring users, I think the fault at the moment acquiring users is actually currently at the fault of projects, which is stopping us from reaching real users. Because as what Jason mentioned earlier, right now projects need to actually take care of investors as well. So that's why we need tokens. And tokens, it really applies to farmers and grinders for the speculative value. So in order to attain the real users and in terms of high quality users and quantity users, we need to change the gameplay overall, the project, how it's supposed to be. So if we make gameplay first, then people play the game regardless. People spend regardless. Then you actually don't need a token, and therefore you would have real users that will spend regardless. So for projects right now, we're very reliant on VC money. But games right now in Web3 gaming shouldn't be reliant on VC money. We should be reliant on the virtual economy. The game should be able to sustain itself. People should be able to spend regardless of whatever financial gains you get. And this is what we should be heading towards.
Yeah, I can go next. So I think acquiring users is something that, Web3, as a whole industry, we need to unlock in general, right? I think the most important thing here is that we look at why Web2 gaming or like traditional gaming actually tend to thrive in this economy. Mainly because, they work towards traditional marketing. So like, for example, you see, a lot of Web2 games, they are easily available on like Play Store, Steam and stuff like that. Whereas for us, we have struggles when it comes to basically, implementing, or basically putting our games up in the Play Store. I think that's one of the biggest hurdle. And then in terms of like using traditional media, like right now, you see most of the games that we use, right, all the creators, they are mainly on like X and all. Whereas if you look at I won't call them real gamers, but traditional gamers, right, they use Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook and all, where all these platforms, users are there to look at the games, whether it's being streamed or being used like those other traditional creators. I think this is something that we need to look at when it comes to like acquiring users for the game studios. I think first and foremost, when you talk about platform, the first thing we need to look at is how do we unlock, those regulations, those policy, how do we get our games up there, how do we market them, how do we make them more accessible. Like for example, if you buy a phone today, right, you talk about a mobile phone, you have your Play Store, your Apple Store, install straight away. And having your games listed there, it basically, unlocks or give you guys the opportunity or the games the opportunity to reach out to a wider mass. Whereas if you're not there, games you download through like APK or whatever not, it increase like, the obstacle. And now, of course, looking at the platform, whenever someone actually posts like a Web3 game on, let's say, TikTok, right, most of the time the game get removed straight away. And this is something that we need to unlock to make sure that, this is something that we can really do when it comes to marketing to acquire more users.
Yeah. I think the KOL or some like GAL, the gaming community, is a very great strategy to acquire more users. So, Andy, how do you think about the acquiring strategy?
Yeah, I think Darren and Jason point out really good points. And I think it's about getting your game out there, reaching to the right audience, and also just make it more accessible so that people don't just give up on their first click. And while I think user acquisition is very important, and both Darren and Jason have pointed out very good points, I think the key is user retention.
Yeah.
And I think that is really about having a good product first. The good tokenomics design, good fun game to play. And then also it's about caring about your community. Because I think in even previous sessions, a lot of people talk about how it is important to have a good community for Web3, for gaming, and even just any product you have. And that really depends on how you do your marketing, how much effort you spend on taking care of your community members. And I think you always have to think from a user's perspective. I think that's the key.
But I think that's a big problem because most of the project lose a lot of retentions after TGE.
Yeah.
So do you think any specific experience or specific case you can introduce to everybody to what's the best strategy to keep the retention rate for users? Maybe we can have some specific case. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I do think that a lot of games have lost users for their TGE after the TGE, and a quick way I think it's having them locked up, or having more surprises after TGE. It's not just about the token, and you can totally design your full launch after TGE. So then you keep more momentum. You let people know that the product's going to continue, and I think it's important to have some diehard fans for a game. And some people are here for tokens. Some people are here for the financial benefits. But there are people out there who actually love games IPs, and especially in Japan, I see a lot of hardcore fans. For example, Catism was here. I see a lot of Catism fans around there, not really caring about like not just caring about the play to earn aspect, but really love the IP, love the visuals, and I think that's also a way to go to keep users.
Yeah, yeah. I think about the finance incentive. Not only finance incentive can acquire more users. I think if you can generate more revenue, it will very helpful to have a sustainable project, right? So I want to ask Jason about the revenue side. So do you have any specific experience from some projects you can share? They generate great revenue for their Web3 gaming.
Yeah, for sure. But before I touch on that, I want to echo the point that Andy mentioned. I think retention and the way we acquire users is very important. Like for instance, we acquire users through play to airdrop. Obviously, these users are there for the tokens because airdrop, right? After airdrop, what happens? It's basically we are done, right? So the way you market, the kind of strategy you use to attract your users is basically what matters, right? If your users are here for airdrop, once that is done, they are done. Yeah. But if you're able to make them come in through airdrops, and then if your game loop is attractive enough, like what he mentioned in terms of having more products, having more utility, after that, people will tend to stay. So I think this is something that projects need to strengthen, to look at, while sometimes not revealing too much, but of course, trying to have more incentive or more utility or more things to look for. Like if you want to call it surprise of element or whatever not, something that they can anticipate, right? And then when you talk about revenue model, right now on Say, there's a couple of games that are generating pretty good revenue. For instance, there's this game that we are working with. It's called Fish War, right? Some of the NFTs go as high as 10,000 USD, and you didn't hear me wrong, 10,000 USD. And people are actually buying it because these eggs are basically something that they can use for APYs, and this is something that they can use for potential higher rewards in the sense whereby in-game economies, items as well, helping them enhance their gameplay, and then potentially get something at TG. So people will tend to buy in and lock their money into it and basically, utilize the tokens. And Fish War is not the only game that is on Say that is doing this. There's also another game called Dragon's Leader. Same thing, using APY mechanics to lock in their eggs and stuff. Basically, like a gacha system, right? People anticipate, people try to unlock a loot box system. So this is something that could really, help to sustain the revenue or for the game themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Darren, do you have any specific case you think they use a good strategy to generating some more revenue? Yeah.
Matrix Fire is a very good game. Mm-hmm. They generate revenue because one, the gameplay is very good, but as Jason said, the loot box system. Matrix Fire has a loot box system, so this already exists in traditional gaming where you pay for a pack and you don't know what you get inside. It's like a gacha box. So you have maybe a 10% chance of getting a legendary item, 50% of getting like a common item, and you just keep re-rolling. You buy people buy 10 packs, 20 packs at the same time. People pay for this regardless of the outcome because it's a bit like gambling. So this is something that's really done well by Matrix. And another system by Gator. Gator is also very good from Hong Kong. They actually take NFTs from so many different projects, from so many esports games.
Yeah.
So if you actually want to have an NFT from this game, you can buy 10 packs, and there's a chance of getting it instead of buying it from the open market. So again, people like the gambling element as well.
Seems like more utility for your tokens or for the NFTs, right?
Of course.
Yeah. Okay, and I think I want to discuss about the infrastructure of Web3 gaming because, in the last bull market, the Web3 gaming is pretty difficult for Web2 users because you have to have a crypto wallet. But I think right now it's way much easier for users to onboard to Web3 games. So what do you think about the infrastructure of Web3 gaming? Any experience you have or you think any trend is happening right now? So if we're going for Andy, yeah.
Yeah, we do see a lot of nice solutions coming out, like Web3 Auth, Face Wallet from Korea. And I think that makes it so much easier for people like, I don't know, my mother to join.
Yeah.
But let's say a younger brother, younger sister, who maybe just started up their own, their first mail account, and they can just log in from there, or just use their phone number to log in for some instance. And I think that really helps people to start. And also we see Ton and also kind of upcoming with these like instant messaging app, they can just get into the game from there. That is made so much easier. And I think being able to do things effortless does help people and continue in the long term.
Yeah, Darren, how do you think about infrastructure?
Yeah, making things seamless more effortlessly. So making it more invisible to blockchain because people are getting more lazy. If you look at e-commerce, the more clicks you have in between before you actually do a payment or transaction, you actually drop off by like 8% for each click. It's actually very important, even though it's just one click away. So for what I see in the future is that when we actually play blockchain games, you may not need the passport, you may not need the wallet. Everything you can do just with your Google Auth or Facebook login. So with these in mind, people won't see the blockchain element. And I think this will be the next step towards huge mass adoption.
I think right now, the best chain with the best infra is immutable, in my opinion. We prefer the immutable passport, right? But of course, there's other, infra that's out there like Sequence, Third Web. And right now, what I'm seeing is that, even Bigger Wallet, Bigger Wallet Lite allows people to just connect their wallet or create a wallet, using just a Gmail account on Telegram. But what I'm seeing that's pretty new nowadays, which is on some of the ecosystem, is that there's this thing called like the silent onboarding. So what happened here is that once you log into the game, all right, you don't even need to connect your wallet or connect like, your Gmail account or Facebook. A wallet is created just for you. So there's some Web2 games that actually do the same thing, right? They basically let you play the game, and then once you are happy with it, you connect your Gmail, you link your account. So this is what they're doing, right? They let you create a wallet first without you knowing, and then after which you can just buy your wallet or you can buy your account to it. And this is something that I'm seeing that's very impactful when it comes to like onboarding your users, because the users don't even know that they're actually playing a Web3 game because there's no like logins, there's no like wallet. I don't even need to create a wallet for you. I would say forcefully create a wallet for you, but rather it's a silent onboarding process where your wallet is just created and it's just there. And you can see your wallet address. And when you want to connect it, you want to use it, it's there. It's available.
Yeah, the infra is important, but I think currently the users' attention is also very important for gaming project because now users only pay attention on meme coin or AI agent. So do you guys think you will recommend some gaming project have to follow trend, like launch a meme token or do some AI related things for their gaming? So how do you think about the current trend?
Yeah, I think the meme cycle, or should I call it like the super meme cycle, is here to stay for a while, right? Especially with the current administration. I am recommending some of my games to basically launch that token as a meme rather than just like a utility token. Of course, there's going to be a high risk involved, but it's up to them, right? We can recommend, we can give them like our thoughts, but it boils down to them whether they want to do it. Because right now, the community looks at meme coin, and if a token is a way for them to like hype things up about their game or basically tie things back, it works. Like for example, right now, say we have this game called Meme Pet, right? But the name itself, it's a meme game. And you basically have like IPs of like Pepe, Shiba Inu, even like basically all the memes on Say are in the game as an IP, right? So it's totally relatable. And launching the game token as a meme coin would definitely make sense. And people will talk about it because the game will then support, deposits from like Shiba, Pepe or Peanut or whatever, right? So these are the things that, that's coming up.
Yeah, Darren, how do you think?
Yes, completely. I think memes used to be seen in negative ways and just short-term pump and dumps. But memes actually build culture. And culture is actually already formed in traditional gaming. It's like, why do we play World of Warcraft over RuneScape? We're actually two different types of players, even though we both like MMOs. So memes, whether you like Pepe or Peanut, it's a culture. And it's actually a culture whether you play a particular Web2 game or a free game as well. So by launching memes, it's not actually the old definition of memes. It's a very new sense of memes right now. So launching memes is very good. Like Pudgy Penguins is going to launch Pengu in the next week. So before they said it's memes, but it's actually going to be the only official token of Pudgy Penguins. And we acknowledge Pudgy Penguins as the official Web3 face of crypto right now. Yeah. So launching memes is really the way to build a community.
Andy?
Well, I think it's definitely wise to capture the current trend and monetize it as well. But I think an important thing, I think maybe Jason also tells like the projects on Say, like it's important to like incorporate it into your own project and not just launch a meme because it's meme super cycle. And I think there's a lot of ways to do it. It could be like further airdrops. It could be like, I don't know, holder benefits, a lot of different stuff like this. But I think that's always a good a good thing to try. And to build your community, to like attract more people's attention. Maybe someone who's like not an avid gamer, but has interest in memes and turn out to be like a fan, a potential fan of yours. So I think it's something worth trying.
Yeah, I think we all agree to use the meme to attract more attentions. But then, anyone want to add on about the AI agents? How AI agent will affect Web3 gaming? So yeah, I just want to curious, Jason.
I think AI agent is definitely something that's coming up. Like recently, I've been talking to quite a few partners implementing AI into their gameplay. But I think this is something that is still pretty new. Everybody is still exploring. But the fact is that even in traditional gaming, there's a use of like AI agent in there. Whether is it like having a bot, right? If you look at it, all these bots are actually AI. These NPCs are actually AI. And in traditional space, there's also people who use pro player skills and make them into an AI, right? So you can actually play with pro players without playing with them. So AI agent, in this space, there's a lot of utility behind it in terms of like, developing in the gameplay or like basically letting people play with someone else with the same skill sets without playing with that person physically. So there's a lot of things, there are a lot of different angles, but I would say that we are still pretty new in this space, especially when it comes to AI agent for Web3. But there are projects on say that's actually looking at that aspect.
Darren.
I think AI agents have a lot of potential in casual gaming, but it would probably be non-existent in competitive gaming. So if you look at esports, it's actually considered a sport. It's supposed to be based on your physical, mental capabilities. Yeah. But for you to have agents inside your game, you basically eliminate the existence of esports in the first place. So I think this is where it wouldn't have a chance. Yeah, it's like having aimbots when you play Counter-Strike. Then
when you play the esport, when you play gaming, maybe you can chatting with some AI girls, something like that.
Yeah, so every pro player is now a streamer. We're not playing the game again.
Okay, Andy.
Well, I think it's so fun if we're playing with like an AI agent, but I think there's a lot of ways to doing it. It could be an AI agent who helps you with like recognizing your gaming data and like do recommendations, and I think that's a product that's already existing. And I think we should be more creative in seeing how these new technologies, these new trends can be incorporated in the gaming vertical, and see whether maybe you don't want to play against an AI agent, but you could be like leading a group of AI agents, a group of AI characters to battle against like another real player's AI agents. I think there's just a lot of ways to explore that, and I'm excited to see who comes up with the success formula.
Yeah, sounds very interesting. So I think the last question for this panel. So can you guys give some advice for the founders of they want to build a Web3 gaming? So any suggestions you can provide to them? Yeah, maybe Jason.
Yeah, for me, the most important thing is that what is going to be your USP for your game in Web3, right? Like the first thing you must look at is your product available in Web3? That's the first thing you must look at. And after that, how competitive is this game in Web2, right? Basically, blue ocean, red ocean, right? If your game already exists in Web2, why make it in Web3? And what's going to be the USP? Don't replicate a product just because you want to bring a product from Web2 to Web3. You have to look at unique selling point. Is there a total addressable market for it? Does the money make sense? Does the market make sense? Is there opportunity there? Not just like cloning and then bringing new hype. I don't think that really works, because in the long run, people will actually find out that this is just a clone, right? So why do I want to play it on Web3 when that is available on Web2? Unless you're telling me there's some mechanics, new stuff that we can look at that is not available there. Like for example, interoperable between your game studios that is in your product, or potentially some fusing on NFTs, maybe some earning mechanics. But other than that, I think founders should really look at why are they building this product, what are they trying to address, and why is the opportunity there?
Yeah, Darren.
For me, I think for founders here, the first is to define your vision of success. Everyone's version of success is very different. If your success is, I want a TG on Binance, and then I'll slowly do a sophisticated rug pull, this doesn't work anymore. This used to work maybe in the last cycle. But if you look at Binance or OKX now, how many game projects have actually listed on Binance? Yeah. On this cycle, it's only just Matrix Fire. So first define your vision of success. I think for projects coming into the next cycle, the vision of success shouldn't be just listing on TGE. It should be based on, can you actually have a project that runs on its own economy? Can a game survive without tokens? Can a game survive without VCs? And secondly, my last advice is try find your own niche, build your own culture. You don't really need to have 1 million players or mass adoption. If you have 100,000 dedicated players and you build this culture, it's very successful already. So to build a culture, you need to actually find your niche, use good marketing plans, work with people like Pewcast, Unfungible, have good AMAs. This builds a very strong cult and a very strong following.
Yeah. I think it's very, I really like the point that Darren shared about finding your niche. And I think that's what everyone should do. There's a lot of products out there. There's a lot of products that looks like other products. And I think like being able to find what you're best at, what your product is about, and think of it in the long term and and plan it backwards for like your next step is how builders should be doing. And keep pushing out a good product, keep pushing out good updates. And I think marketing, we're here to help. But I think if you have a good product, that really helps, saves half the work at least.
Yeah, product is still important, not only marketing, right? Yeah, I think it's a great ending for Taipei Blockchain Week. I think ties up. So, yes, thanks again, Jason and Darren and Andy. Yeah, thank you, you guys still here. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.